Hey everybody, how's it going? So today, different location. As you can see, this is not my home office. I'm in this beautiful slice of heaven that is my hometown, Conegliano. Sorry, the lighting is not very good, but here it is. So in this video, I wanted to tell you why I think it's so important that you learn a new language in 2025, specifically English, but just like a new language. Besides the scientific reasons for it, I mean, it's proven that learning a new language is so beneficial to your brain, and I'm not gonna get into that. I'm just gonna bring you my experience being a language learner, first of all, and then a language teacher as well. So for who doesn't know this, I'm Italian. I've always lived here and, well, not really always. I mean, I was born here and everything, but when I was 20 years old, I moved to China and I lived there for 6 years. And this is just a little bit of a hint of why being able to speak a language has completely changed my life. So let's back it up a little bit. So I've been thinking about this question so much, and if I have to give you a word on why I think you should learn a new language and why it's so important and it really changes your life, like to this point, is like the word would be access. I think being able to speak a foreign language gives you access to doors you wouldn't have otherwise have access to. And what I mean is like opportunities, experiences of any kind. Like think about it. So for example, me, if I didn't speak English, I couldn't have moved to China and I wouldn't have met who I call now my best friends, and I wouldn't have got 2 degrees, and I wouldn't have started my language business, which is my job. And because of that, I wouldn't have met some of the greatest people that I've ever met in my whole life online, because again, foreigners, so some of them I haven't even met in person yet. So what I'm saying is really being able to speak another language gets you seriously like through doors you couldn't have otherwise have access to. Like maybe your people are just your next door neighbors, maybe you're just fine where you are and you love your hometown and everything, but the thing is, like for example, in my case, my people, some of best people that I have in my life are here, but some are not. Like people with your mentality, with your values, with your vision, they might not be your next door neighbor. They might not be, like in my case, Italian, right? And so by speaking another language, that's why I say specifically English, because English is the go-to language. So I can talk to a French, I can talk to a Spanish, I can talk to a Chinese. I mean, English specifically really is the bridge, right, that gets you on the other side. And this is also something that I think it's motivational, and it's just the truth. A lot of people don't even start because they just see the purpose in the learning. So the purpose of learning, for example, English, is not learning English. The purpose is what's on the other side. Like think about learning a language as the boat that gets you from one side of the island to the other. So you're here now, you can't speak English, or you can't speak it fluently enough or how you would like. And what's on the other side? Is it a job you can't apply for? Is it moving to another country? Is it making new friends? Is it maybe meeting someone who could possibly be your husband or your wife? Like the world is so big. I know we always say that the world is small, but actually the world is so big, and there are so many places to see, people to meet, cultures to discover. There's so much of it, and if you only speak your language, you kind of limit yourself. And I don't know about you, but I don't like limits. I just want it to be my choice where I go, what I do, and just I like to think of myself as the creator of my life. And part of it is having the tools, the skills to be able to do that. So again, whether that's a job or just meeting new people, being in different rooms, like imagine it as like a very tall building and you're just on the ground floor. And the more skills you have, the more you can get, to the first floor, second floor, 100th floor. And I think communication is just the way to go. Sure, then you can choose to stay in your country. I mean, look at this. Who wouldn't want to stay here? This is amazing. But if I want to, I can choose to move abroad. It's not like you have to do all these things, but at least you have this skill set, you have the means to change your life if you want to. So this video is gonna be pretty brief, and because this is just my thoughts, and I really like to know what your thoughts are. And I don't know, like for me, languages is my biggest passion. English like has always been my biggest passion, but I also think that even if that's not the same for you, you can always try to find a way to like what you're doing. That's what I always tell my students. Like, you, of course, if you think about, you know, spending hours on a textbook doing exercises and not being able to speak, who would want that? Like, that's not a positive image. That's not an image that motivates you in any way. But if you think about, again, moving to the country you've always wanted to move, or just travel there, or meeting new people just different from you that have different stories and different cultures and have so much to offer, you know, even just traveling, you know, how many people have told me, yeah, I've traveled there, I've seen beautiful places like this one, but I couldn't interact with people and I was left out of the conversation. Isn't that limitation? I think that's awful, right? Of course, we have eyes, we can see the places, but it's really the people, the stories, and the connections that we make that matter, right? So I don't know, like for me, the word to, you know, describe the number one reason to learn a language is access. Now I want to know what's yours, and that's it. So now I'm gonna go and finish my coffee overlooking this view right here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.